So we'd like to interview you. And your name is?
Jorge Armando Ortiz.
Okay. And when were you born?
February 22nd, 1928.
1928. And where were you born?
Cayey, Puerto Rico.
Okay. And who were your parents? What were their names?
José Ortiz y Andrea León de Ortiz.
Okay. And at the time, did you have any brothers and sisters who were older than you, who were already born?
No, 4 sisters and 1 brother.
Whoa. So you were the baby.
Yes.
Honey, tell the people out there they have to quiet down.
Oh.
I'm picking it up. I'm picking it up on them.
That we loosen
Okay.
Uncle Pepe's tongue. That's the end of it. Okay. So you're the baby of the family.
Yes.
Okay. Did your parents like you as a baby? Were you a good baby? Were you?
Oh yes, I was the best.
You're terrible. Were you skinny, fat?
Skinny.
Okay. Did you cry a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
Wow.
And who took care of you? Mostly your mother or your sisters?
My mother and my cousin Angelita and my sisters.
Okay, so Angelita lived with you?
Yes, at that time, yes.
All right. And how much older was she?
Well, she's about probably 9 years older.
Okay.
9, 10.
Angelita was Mary's sister, so it was Angelita, but Mary didn't live with you. Mary lived with other people.
Yes, she can live with us.
Angelita was the daughter of your
And,
mother's, your aunt who died
yeah,
in a fire, right?
yeah.
Okay. Now, what did your father and mother do at the time when you were born? What were they doing? What did he work? What did he work as?
My father used to be like a foreman on a sugarcane and tobacco plantation. And my mother used to do homework and sew, used to make money sewing.
Okay. When you were a little kid, what games did you play? Like when you were 3 or 4 or 5, did you play any games, or did you have any toys that you liked, or what did you do as a kid?
Played a little baseball.
A little baseball?
Mm.
Okay. So you had baseball and bat and gloves and stuff, or just the ball and the bat?
Just the pistols, wood and a ball. Made out of rags.
Okay, so you played
That
stick
was
ball.
those days. The ball was made out of rags.
Oh, goodness.
And the bat was just a piece of stick, any kind of stick.
Uh-huh. And what did you like to eat? What kind of foods did you guys eat?
Rice and beans.
Your mother made rice and beans?
And chicken, fried chicken,
Fried chicken?
fresh fried chicken.
So it was fresh fried. You mean really
I
fresh?
just went in the backyard, picked one chicken and came inside, killed it, and
Who did the killing?
my mother used to kill them.
Yeah? How did she do that?
They stretch her neck, stretch their necks, just like that.
Yes, you just do it like that without a knife?
No, knife. They didn't use a knife then.
Goodness.
After she could have stretched her necks, killed them, and then cut them up.
Okay.
After he died,
All right. And what kind of a house did you live?
well, it's a ranch house.
A ranch house? And it was in Cayey, in the outskirts. It wasn't in the town.
What they call Barrio Montellano.
Barrio Montellano. Okay. And did you have your own room when you were a little boy, or did you share it with your brother?
I used to share it with my mother and my father
Oh, okay.
when I was a kid.
You were in like a crib?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
How old were you when you got your own bed in your own room?
Maybe never.
No, I got one probably 8 or 9, but I don't remember.
Did your sisters have their own rooms?
Well, there was one room for 4 of my sisters.
Oh, a big room. And they had 4 beds in there?
2 beds. They
2
used to
beds,
sleep
okay,
with
2
each
and
other.
2. Okay.
And then Elsie used to sleep with Lida, and then Ada used to sleep with Elba.
Oh, okay.
And Pepe had another room on the back. And I used to sleep with my mother and father, in my mother's and father's room.
Okay. Did you have any servants or people who came into the house and worked for you?
Yeah, they used to come and cook.
Oh, so you
And clean.
had somebody help your mom cook?
Once in a while they used to come. They used to have one once in a while. Like, I guess if they get fired or I don't know, they didn't come back or something, but people come.
Mm-hmm. And, okay, so that was 1928, 29, 33. So when you started to go to school, how old were you and where did you go to school?
5. I was 5 years old. I went right around where we used to live, what they call Barrio Montellano.
Uh-huh. They had like a kindergarten there?
Just regular school, 1st grade. I guess they didn't have no kindergarten
Oh.
those days.
In those days they didn't have kindergarten.
Mhm.
And it was one school with different grades in there?
They had different schools, it's like a house, and then another one, and then they had another one bigger, and then when I was probably about 12, they built a bigger one, regular school.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you remember what classes or what things they taught you in the school? Do you remember any of your books or your things that you
I
studied?
remember it was mathematics,
Mm-hmm.
sports,
What kind of sports did they make you do?
volleyball.
Oh,
That's probably about everything right there. Running. You know, when you go to compete with another schools,
uh-huh.
running and volleyball, a little basketball.
Would you win?
Yeah,
Yeah, you were a good runner.
yeah. Well, I used to finish second all the time.
Who was finishing first?
The other school.
Too bad.
Did you have any pets?
Yes, we had an old dog. Well, I don't know when he died or whatever because I don't remember him died. But so I was a kid then, a little kid. So I guess he died and they threw it away without telling me.
Oh. And was he a big dog or a small
He
dog?
was a big black dog, and his name was Judy.
Judy. What a funny name for a dog.
Judy.
Mm.
Like Judy Garland.
Any other kind of animals?
Chickens, pigs.
You made friends with the chickens?
Yeah, I used to go and feed them, and I had one that used to follow me just like like a dog follow you.
The chicken will follow you everywhere you went?
I used to call her Chirilia, and then whenever I call her, I say Chirili, Chirili, so she follows me. Then one day she started, when she got big, she started laying eggs with the pigeons. You know the pigeons, so the pigeon lays the eggs and have the little one.
Uh-huh.
And my mother stretched her neck.
Oh,
I didn't eat.
you refused to eat it?
Everybody ate for me.
Oh, goodness. And you said you had pigs too?
Yeah.
Wow. So,
One thing that we have one all the time we eat one and then we get another small one. And when time was to eat that one, we get another one.
oh,
We
goodness.
eat it and then get a small one.
How long would you keep a pig though? Like a few months
I
or
don't remember.
a few years?
Till I got till they got long
Takes about a year.
enough, big enough so we can eat them.
Oh, goodness.
We had cows.
You had cows too.
We had milking cows, and
Milking cows. Who milked the cows?
my father used to milk them.
Oh,
And he had a horse. to go around the farm.
Did you ever go with him, or did he ever take you? Kids didn't mix with work, I guess.
Well, when all that happened, I was just less than 5 years old. Then he went some other place and worked.
Did Pepe have to do all that?
Well, I don't know. I don't see. He was older. I don't know what he did.
So he
Yeah,
didn't
'cause
hang out with you?
He was 6 years older.
Sweet.
8 years old.
8 years older. Caramba.
So Pepe didn't hang out too much with you when you were around? Because you were a little baby.
Yeah. Okay, so you went to the little school around the corner, the first grade, and until, okay, so it's, until around the sixth grade. Were you still in that school there? You said that when you were 12, they made another school.
No, they made that school. I don't know. They made that school probably when I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
And from that school, I went in town. We moved to town. When I was 14, I think that we moved to Cayey, to the town.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to the school there.
Okay. So you guys all moved into the town of Cayey.
Yeah.
Around, was it around the center square, or was it on one of the side streets?
On the side of going toward the south, I guess.
Okay. And then at that time you went to the school in town.
Yes, in Cayey.
Okay.
Carrion.
Okay, so that was later on, because when Pepe went to school, they always lived out in the country, and they called him the hillbilly, because he came from out in the boonies to come into town to go to school. But by the time he got to school, they were living there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm trying to keep this clear because we heard another story this morning, and this one's a little different. All right. So, let's see. When you were 14, you would have been in, what's that?
9th grade.
9th grade.
Oh, when I was 14, I was in the 7th grade, and when I was 16, I was still in the 8th grade.
Oh, so they pushed you back.
I think I just went 8th grade, and I spent 2 years in 4th grade.
2 years in 4th grade.
2 years in the 1st grade.
2 years in the 1st grade.
And 3 years in the 8th grade.
And 3 years in the 8th grade. You really wanted to get
Professional
these things,
student.
you wanted to get this right before you continued. All right. And what about your sisters?
No, wait. Did he graduate? We need to know. You didn't graduate?
You never graduated from,
Not even 8th grade.
not even from 8th
Because
grade.
at that time, you used to graduate from 8th grade. And at that time, that was the time when they moved to 9th grade. And when I passed to 9th grade, I didn't graduate from 8th or 9th.
So they never gave you a degree, but you had gone to school.
I never got a diploma. That
You
was
never got a diploma.
He graduated from 8th grade, period. That's it.
Okay.
So you never went to college?
No.
I didn't even. I only went in high school. Only went there for about not even a month. Because the school teacher threw me out.
You were too rowdy?
Because I used to make fun of her all the time.
Oh my God.
And that's when we left for the States.
Who left for the States?
Me, my mother, and everybody. That was in 1945.
So your mother took the two youngest
Yeah.
in 1945, right after the war,
War was 45. Just the same month that the war ended.
the same month that the war ended, and took you to, what do you, okay, because we're skipping too far ahead. Okay, so you didn't graduate from high school, so what did you do? Because you did something. You stayed with your your mom?
I used to go to school. I didn't graduate, but I used to go to school.
Okay.
And
I'm
I
getting-
stayed with my mother that's when she decided to come to the States, and that's.
Oh, okay. So see, I'm getting confused because we didn't do all the sisters.
It's okay. It's fine. We're going to do them later.
The sisters had all gone to high school in Cayey, and they had finished, and they had gotten married, or
went to school, nursing school.
Mother got married. Nelsie got married. Lida got married. And Nada got married. Elba didn't get married.
okay, you and Elba didn't get married, and you stayed with your mom. But when did you leave home to go to the Navy?
After we came to the States.
Oh, it was after you got to New York.
Yeah.
So Mamita, your mother, took you to the States, and she got a job doing dressmaking in the Bronx. What was the
Why don't
first,
you let him talk?
What was the first place you lived in the Bronx?
Southern Boulevard. 731 Southern Boulevard.
731 Southern Boulevard.
Honey, why don't you just ask him questions so he can answer questions and you're not narrating for him?
I don't know what questions to ask him.
Because just let him talk. Just ask him how they went to the United States together.
Okay, how did you go to the United States together?
How? Well, we got a military ship, but they used to go army transport. An army transport me, my mother, and Elba.
And why were you able to go into an army ship?
Because my brother was in the army.
Okay, and your brother was
He got the
your guardians or
Yeah.
something? Okay. And
When
then-
did their daddy leave?
Can you tell us about what happened to your father?
My father, he used to live in Comerío. I guess I don't know because I was too young to know, but I figured that he had another woman over there. Maybe they don't like me to say that, but he did.
Yes, all right.
That's when I was.
Mm-hmm.
He left when I was about 4 years old. They don't like me to say that, I don't think.
Oh, you were only 4?
I mean, he used to come and stay a little while and then go back again. And one time he just left and
Didn't come back.
come back for 1 or 2 days. That was it. I don't have much to say about my father.
You didn't have much knowledge of him.
No.
Okay. Except that you knew he was a foreman at these plantations. Okay. So your brother got you to New York, and then what did you do there?
In New York, when I went to New York, I was 17 years and 6 months.
Uh-huh.
Then I couldn't work because I didn't have no social security card. I couldn't get one till I was 18.
Oh.
So I told them that I was 18 when I was only 17 and a half. So that's when they had the army draft. So when I turned 18, the army was looking for me because I was late to register with the service, selective service that they used to call. Before instead of going to the army, I decided that I didn't like the army, I wanted to go in the Navy. So at the same time, when I was 18 years and probably 10 days, I went into the Navy. 1946.
And what base were you at the time?
In 1946, they sent me to Camp Perry, Virginia, for training. From there, after training, they gave me 15 days leave. From there, they put me in a train and sent me to San Francisco, California.
Wow.
From San Francisco, they put me in a ship. It took 30 days to get to Guam and the Marianas Island. And from the Marianas Island, I went to Saipan, where the biggest job that I got to do over there was I was the PW chaser, Japanese PW chaser for a few days anyways. So
And what did you have to do there?
well, I used to take him, pick him up at where they had him, the brick, take him to work, and then stay with them all day long watching them. I had a 45, I only had one bullet.
Oh,
And
goodness.
then at noon time I used to take him to eat. Then I go back and want to pick him up again, 1 o'clock, and bring him back to work. And then at 5 o'clock I used to take him back to the brig.
Wow.
That's the biggest thing that I did over there. Then I got into an accident, and I had a big cut in my head right here.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me back to the States for hospitalization.
Wow.
Then from there, I was in Oakland, California, a big Navy hospital that they got there. After I got out of the hospital, they sent me to San Francisco. And from San Francisco, I went to Oxnard to school, mechanic school, but I couldn't understand the teacher. He was from the South.
You had an accent.
So from there, I went on. They transferred me to San Juan, Puerto Rico. San Juan, I stayed there for about 5 months, and they sent me to a ship in New Orleans, USS Hank, in New Orleans, Louisiana. I stayed there for 18 months. From there, the ship that I was on, it was transferred to Norfolk, Virginia, and they were going to go to Europe for 9 months. I only got about 5 months to do, to finish. So they put me in another ship. And when my time finished, I got out of the Navy. Got out of the Navy in December 1949. That's when I started going out with Celeste,
Where, in San
New
Juan?
York.
Oh, in New York.
the Bronx, New York.
You met her in the Bronx?
I met her in, you remember Miguel Cintron?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Well, he's our cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And she was cousin to his wife.
Okay.
So we met there. So she was getting a divorce, and I was looking for somebody. So
Nice looking lady, you figured.
we started going out, and we got married.
She had been married before, however,
Yes.
and she had
And
one girl, Enery, who your granddaughter is named after, right? And Enery lives in.
I know she lives in Maryland.
Okay. Okay, so you're out of the Navy, and you married Celeste. Then what happened?
No, I didn't marry her yet.
Oh, you're dating her.
So we were dating, so I decided that factory work was not for me in New York. So I decided to go back into the Navy. And then after we got back, we talk about it, because those days, if you was married in the Navy, it won't take you. They'll take you what you got. You have to be somebody that they need.
Okay.
So I went back into the Navy, and then we got married. I went back into the Navy in December 1950, and we got married in January.
Okay.
And from there, we got married and went to Puerto Rico for 3 years. And after that, we came to Norfolk for about 3 more years, and back to Puerto Rico again.
What did you do when you were in the Navy in Puerto Rico?
What I used to do, I used to stand watches, guard. We used to work in special services, watch on the swimming pool, make sure that no kids will drown in there, even I didn't know how to swim.
What else?
We used to clean, the movies. We used to work right on the movies at night.
So what about your ranking? What were you?
On that time I was seaman. Then later on I made third class. And till I made third. I made third class and keep going up till I made chief.
Chief.
Chief Petty Officer.
Chief Petty Officer. And again, it was between Norfolk, Virginia, and San Juan most of the time, right?
Yeah, one time after I went to when the second time that I was in Puerto Rico, I was not at the base. I was in San Juan, but I was in a ship that they had down there for rescue and salvage. Every time that a plane went down, we had to go over and try to get the plane out or the people if we got over there on time.
Mm-hmm.
I even, when they sent the first monkey to the moon,
Mm-hmm.
we went after that, when it came back down to
retrieve it.
We went to retrieve it.
What was this boat that you were on?
U.S. Escape, Rescue and Salvage. That was when it's Sputnik.
Uh-huh.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
No kidding.
That was 59. 59
Yeah,
was about.
58, 59, something like that, because I was on that ship from October, August 58, 57 to 1960.
Okay, and then in 1960,
I went to another ship in Norfolk, Virginia. It's called the USS Rico. That used to be in storage ships. We used to replenish all the carriers and the other ships over there. And in Europe,
Refuel?
we used to refuel them. We didn't have to refuel them, but we refueled some of them, but not all of them. We used to replenish them.
What does that mean?
bring them supplies.
Stores, whatever.
Okay.
It was like a big supermarket.
Floating supermarket.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was.
So you would go from Norfolk to Europe
To
and back
Mediterranean
to the
Sea.
Mediterranean Sea.
We used to go right to Spain. Our first stop used to be in Valencia, Spain, and pick up like cabbage and tomatoes and things like that, carrots. And then from there we go out to sea and give it to the fleet.
Okay.
So the aircraft carriers used to come alongside, stay alongside there for some of them up to 5 or 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Then we transfer out the
Moving
stores.
stuff in and out.
And then after when we were gonna finish, we go back and get some more from some other ships and stay there. Used to stay there for a month and a half, almost 2 months. Then go back to New York, I mean to Norfolk.
Okay, so a lot of times you would be out to sea for months at a time.
About 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we stay out there till they had no more stores and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were in Spain, since I was the only one that could speak Spanish,
They all gathered around you.
they used to send me in show patrol, military police out there.
Oh, I see.
And they used to give me, but those days, $14.50, that was a lot of money. And for which, and the hotel used to cost $2.80
Mm-hmm.
with 3 meals a
Oh.
day.
Wow, those were the days.
Wonderful.
So I didn't even eat in the hotel. I used to stay outside, eat, and then drink. I had to everybody on the ship had to be back at 11 o'clock at night. But since I had to stay in a hotel, the shop patrol used to stay in a hotel in town.
You could hang out.
So whenever we send everybody back to the ship, then we go back to nightclub.
What did Celeste think about all of this?
You know about that? I don't know.
Did you have any kids by then?
Yeah, we had one. Both of them were born already.
They were born in what, 50?
David was born in 56.
In 56 and
Elba was born in 51.
51.
Hmm.
Yeah, Elba is then my brother Victor's age.
Yeah,
Almost the same age. Okay, that takes you through
to the
the 60s, right? Then what happened in the 70s?
beginning of the 60s.
Beginning of the
60s. Okay, so
From
what?
the Rico, from that ship I got transferred to a ship in Newport, Rhode Island. a DER, or what they call a radar ship, big radar.
Radar, okay. Wow.
I used to come down to between Cuba and Miami, stand white duty or whatever they call duty, they used to call it, right in between. We used to stay there for 40 days at a time, making sure that
The Cubans weren't
The
misbehaving.
Fidel won't send no airplanes through there to the States.
Okay.
And sometimes we used to go out on boats. I don't know what we did, but I don't know, we used to go out close to Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Bay of Pigs? Do you remember the Bay of Pigs?
Bay of Pigs invasion.
62.
Oh yeah, I was on that, but
61.
when the Bay of Pigs.
Uh-huh. What were you?
No, I know that was
61.
on the Bay of Pigs. I remember, but yeah, I think that I was on the ship before that. This one, on the same one
Regal?
on the Rico.
The Regal was down near Cuba at the time?
When they
Or Miami?
no, we used to operate out of Norfolk. But
Okay.
every time that the fleet went someplace, we used to have to load all stores and take them to the ships.
Okay.
And the same thing that during the Cuban blockade, I was in Spain, in Rota, Spain, and we left. I didn't know why, because everything was in a hurry. So after we got on the way, we got out and started heading toward the States. That's when I found out, everybody found out what was going on. And we came back to Norfolk and load the ship, and then went to the blockade.
So you went down to the Miami area.
To Cuba.
Cuba, all around Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
We would run the whole blockade because we had to refuel and replenish all those ships out there.
Okay.
That was a scary time.
Well, we didn't even know what we were doing anyways.
They're just soldiers.
Don't say that they didn't tell
They
you.
didn't give
what
you a
to-
clue, huh?
But no, they don't say that. Now they tell you where you're going and what you're going to do. Don't say that. They used to tell you
Anything.
just like that.
A lot of it was covert action.
You had to have your clothes in the ship all the time. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So you were very rarely home, Uncle George.
He was floating around
How,
somewhere.
how
all the
often
time.
would you see the kids in Celeste?
Oh, just about every month and a half. Sometimes stay there for 2 or 3 months, 3 months or
3
4.
months at a stretch.
And then go out for a month and a half. And so one time at the end, I went out for about 9 months to Vietnam.
Vietnam took a 9-month stretch. What
What
year
year?
was that?
1972.
That was the last year.
And what did you mostly replenish out in Vietnam?
Most everything that was out there. Like the biggest thing was the carriers, aircraft carriers, and the other tankers. Because when I was in Vietnam, I was a different ship. Vietnam came at the end of my career. From the Rico, I went to that DER that I was telling you about.
The
radar? Oh,
Radar ship.
oh, the radar guy, yeah.
Yeah, from there I went to Cuba, and then the ship was going to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And the day before they left for Vietnam, from Newport Island to Vietnam, they were supposed to make a stop in Hawaii. I got orders to go to Ponce, Puerto Rico. Then in Ponce, well, what I did, that was shore patrol, and I even was, for almost 3 years, I was a criminal investigator. I didn't know nothing about investigation, but they told me you got the job, and that was it.
This was
What kind of criminals were there that you would investigate?
Anything
Stealing-
that happened,
stealing stuff.
most of the things that happened was accidents. Car accidents and things like that.
So the military was involved in civilian accidents?
Well, when the military is driving a car and you got an accident with a civilian,
Oh, okay.
that's where you went in. That's why I had to get up at 12 o'clock at night to go.
Wow.
And that usually, whenever they had an accident or anything happened, it had to be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So I had to get up and go and find out what happened.
That's when I remember I saw you, because we moved from Fort Benning to Puerto Rico in '69, I think it was. Or was it '69? 67.
It had to be 67 because I left Puerto Rico in 68.
Okay, so 67. So I went to Puerto, and you were, I remember you were in Ponce. I think we landed in Ponce.
No, you landed in Aguadilla.
In Aguadilla.
And then I went and picked you guys up.
You picked us up, and I remember I was in total shock because I had been living from Fort Benning, Georgia in the United States, and I landed in what looked like a jungle. And I'm riding through the streets there, and I'm seeing only palm trees and banana trees, and I'm going, where are we going? And he was, I remember you were a criminal investigator. I don't know what rank you were.
I was first class.
Officer, what?
That's like a sergeant first class, I think it is.
Sergeant first class.
Something like that.
Okay.
Then after that I went to Washington. After Ponce I went to Washington. I'm a chief petty officer. And I was doing the same job, but I didn't like it because the first week that the first month that I was there, somebody killed 2 policemen right outside where I was working at. And I decided that was enough for me. I want to go back to a ship.
So how did you get back to the ships?
Well, what I had to do is put a request asking
To transfer?
Transfer from there. Transfer to a ship, and I was it. I went back to a ship, and I went to the ship was over in Europe, and I went to Palma de Mallorca. I went from Norfolk to Palma de Mallorca and pick up the ship and stay there for about 3 months, and we came back.
What ship was that?
USS Concord.
Okay.
That was another ship like the Rico. They do the same thing, stores.
So you were with the Regal a lot, and this new one, the Concorde, because the Regal, were you?
The Rico, the thing, what you're thinking, because you remember when I went to...
You retired and they called you back to work on the Regal.
No, because when I was in the Navy, that was a Navy ship, and then when I got out, that was a civilian ship. When I went to see you, I was on that ship.
Oh, so it was a civilian ship, and it would run between Spain and Norfolk.
See, when I was in the Navy, that was a Navy ship. That's all you transfer, store ship. And then the Navy gave it to the Merchant Marines. Not the Merchant Marines, like military sea lift. And then there were civilians working there. That's what I got the job there.
As a civilian?
Yes.
Retired military.
Yeah.
You just were very familiar with the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And you could do whatever job on that ship because you knew the ship. All right.
And then what happened?
Then what happened?
Then you went to Vietnam for 9 months.
When I was on the Concorde, then I got back from a 6-month trip to Europe, Mediterranean, and a month later, after I was in Norfolk, they put me in the USS Savannah, a tanker. Tanker store ship.
That Savannah sounds familiar.
And that's why I went to Vietnam for 9 months. What we did was go to the Philippines and blow the ship and go to Vietnam and give it to the aircraft carriers or any ship that was out there. And then after those 9 months, that's when I decided I had enough with the Navy. Also on the Savannah, we used to go to the Philippines. We went to Hong Kong, the Philippines, some other place, Singapore.
Did you get souvenirs from those places?
Yeah, I brought some for everybody, but I got nothing out of it.
You didn't save any of it?
most of it threw them away.
Oh,
After they got old, I see that people have a lot of things, you know. But I ain't got nothing. Can't remember. Well, after we got back from Vietnam, I had to stay there for another year in the ship. But I think I made a trip to the Caribbean, not to Jacksonville. Then I retired. I went to work on the same ships again. But it was the same job that I had in the Navy, but I was making about 3 times more than what I was doing in the Navy. So sometimes I used to make probably 4 times more than what I used to make in the Navy.
caramba.
And I used to like it, but Celeste didn't like it. So I had to quit.
What did she not like?
Me going out.
Going away for months and then, yeah, that must be hard for her.
Well, she said that she was tired. I really needed the money, so I quit. After I quit, there was a friend of mine that used to be in the Navy with me, and he was learning how to fix houses, you know, putting siding and things like that. He asked me if I went to work with him. So we worked together. So after I learned a little bit, we was working for some company in Norfolk. So then we decided, why are we letting that company make money on us when we can be the company and do the job? So we did that. We started looking for jobs, and instead of getting 2/3, we used to get the whole thing. We split it halfway. He take half and I take half.
Great.
Whatever we had, you know, after we paid the material and everything, we used to do half and half.
Mm-hmm. And your girls were now how old?
They were at that time. They were married already, over 18. I don't know. 70. That was all what, 78 or something? No, 80 something. The guy that I used to work with, he was in the Navy with me. He died not long ago.
Oh, you did?
Oh, 8 months after Celeste did. I went to his funeral in Virginia. David took me.
Oh.
We used to be close friends from the Navy.
Uh-huh.
So where did you live when you went into business with him?
Norfolk.
Norfolk?
Virginia Beach.
Oh, Virginia Beach. All right.
So then you were in this business together for a long time?
From almost 10 years.
Wow.
We used to work whenever we feel like. If we didn't feel like taking 2 weeks off, we take 2 weeks off.
Yeah, because you had your pension coming in, right?
Yeah.
That's nice.
So he had a pension too.
Was Celeste working at all?
Who says?
Yeah.
She never worked. She only worked at the house.
That's good.
Taking care of 2 kids.
Yeah.
Big job.
Enough.
Big job, yeah.
And she raised them real good.
Yeah, that's true.
They had to be home at 9 o'clock.
Huh?
18 years old. That's when both of them got married, I think.
Get out of her mom's eyes.
Boy.
So what else?
You want to say anything else about your life?
Well, then I went to
How did you meet Celeste, by the way?
Let him say what he wanted to say.
I went to an eye doctor and he cut the rope thing in there and now I'm blind.
Oh, goodness.
Really?
You think so, huh?
He was.
Why did you sue him?
Yeah, that's at the time I didn't thought nothing about it because I could see good on this side. But then when we moved down to Florida, that's when I started losing this other. I was losing already, but then it was too late. You only can sue, but some 10 years or 7 years. After 7 years, you can do it.
Well, there's a lot of things that are being done with eyes, so I would continue to visit new specialists just to get their ideas.
You know how many eye doctors I've seen since all this?
How many?
15.
Oh boy.
Even last week, about 2 months ago, I saw one Pembroke, no, not in Pembroke, San Agustin.
Uh-huh. And what do they say generally?
Oh, I said, he cleaned up. He took, I got an eyeglass in there. A glass.
In a glass eye in your right eye?
And he took it, no, he didn't took it out, he gave it a laser. He said that he needed cleaning, and he cleaned it.
But you still can't
And
see
then I was
through it.
seeing real good.
How did you lose your eye?
Well, this one I lost it because the guy that operated on it, the first guy, didn't, I guess he didn't know what he was doing. Because when he operated on it, he was seeing good. He said that I had glaucoma.
Uh-huh.
He operated on it, and 40 days later, I was blind out of that eye. And then I didn't thought nothing about it. Then later on, I started losing this eye too.
Glaucoma, you should not lose your sight. I think they've been doing these successful
Well,
operations.
you know, that doesn't matter.
That was this one over here was a
Depends
mistake.
case.
This one over here was clearly a mistake right here, left eye.
Yeah, no kidding. That sounds like. Well,
And you had a question about Celeste?
I just wanted to know how you met.
Well, he told you that
I know,
she
but-
was a cousin of a cousin.
It was, that was during Christmas. We went dancing all day and then. I used to go to the city. She used to live close where I was living.
Mm-hmm.
And
In the South Bronx?
Huh?
In the Bronx?
Yeah. Any time that I used to go over there all the time.
So you knew her family and everything.
You guys still know people in the Bronx, right? Some family in the Bronx, or
No, I don't think that they move out of the Bronx. They live around where Elba lives. One sister,
White Plains?
Yeah.
Okay.
One sister and the other sister is on a, old people's home. Someplace out there close to White Plains.
Okay.
When did you move down to Apollo Beach? Or no, that's recent, like 1 week ago. When did you move down to Florida?
I moved to Florida in 1997.
Yeah, recently.
And June the 30th, 97, that's when we got to Pembroke Pines. And then we moved, this year we moved to San Agustin, and 3 days ago over here.
You like this house?
Oh yeah, I like
Beautiful house.
Is it nicer than the one in San Agustin?
Oh yeah, what is that? The one in Pembroke Pines was a big house.
Yeah.
But I like this one better than that one over there. That one was brand new.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lake on the back,
Oh.
and I had some banana trees on the side.
Oh.
You know that banana tree, my mother got it out of the sea, out of the house in Cayey.
Uh-huh.
When my father died,
Uh-huh.
and I planted it in Norfolk, and it didn't get big or nothing, just I had it in a big pot.
Yeah.
We never did nothing, and then when I moved down here, I brought it with me, and I planted it over there and had bananas.
Oh, goodness.
There was a lot of bananas when I left.
Oh. And you had to leave them?
You couldn't bring anything with you? No seeds, no nothing?
I could bring some of them. If I would have known that I'm coming over here, I probably would have got me a seed, but
Yeah.
I
I
don't
need to
know
get
about
him a banana tree.
So, anything else?
You tired?
There's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of stuff. Thank you very much.